When it was announced that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford would fight in the ring, the boxing world went crazy. This wasn't just another bout. It was a clash of two pound-for-pound greats and unquestioned champions in the same square circle. Fans quickly divided into two groups, those who think Crawford's technique will help him win and others who think Canelo's bulk and strength will be too much for the smaller man. But here's the thing, a lot of experienced boxing gurus aren't just going one way. They're saying this fight won't even be close. From the outside, the contest appears like a dream. Canelo, who has been the face of boxing for more than 10 years, is defending his undisputed super middleweight title at 168 pounds. Crawford, who has never lost, is moving up not one but two weight classes to fight him. It's the kind of argument you circle on the calendar, the kind you tell your friends about. But if you talk to folks who have worked out with both men, studied their approaches, and know what it takes to go 12 rounds, you start to hear a completely different tone. The reasons they make are convincing, and if they're right, this fight could be a lot more one-sided than fans are expecting. First, there's the size element, and this isn't just about height or reach. Canelo has been competing at super middleweight for years. His body is perfect for the division, thick, strong, and compact. He's taken shots from some of the hardest hitters at 168 and continued moving ahead. Crawford, on the other hand, is jumping up from welterweight. Yes, he's dominated at every weight he's fought in. Yes, he's got knockout power, but boxing history is riddled with outstanding fighters who went up too far, too fast. Moving up is more than just putting on pounds. It's about carrying that weight efficiently, preserving your pace, and still being able to take strikes from naturally bigger opponents. And Canelo isn't simply a bigger man, he's one of the most successful pressure fighters in the sport. His skill to chop off the ring is excellent. He doesn't chase, he stalks. Step to your left, and he's already there. Try to circle away, and you find yourself locked near the ropes, right where he wants you. Once you're there, he digs to the body like no one else. Those body shots aren't just about scoring points, they're investments. By round 8 or 9, your legs feel heavy, your hands sag just a little, and that's when he goes upstairs. Against a naturally smaller man, that kind of sustained, deliberate pressure may be stifling. Some feel that Crawford's style can neutralize that. He's a superb switch hitter, able to fight orthodox or southpaw with equal skill. He uses his jab like a spear, probing, measuring, and disturbing rhythm. He's careful, typically starting cautiously, collecting data in the early rounds before shredding his opponent piece by piece. Against lesser combatants, this has been lethal, but against Canelo, many question if Crawford will have the luxury of that slow build. Canelo doesn't allow you time to collect statistics. He forces you into exchanges. And when you do swap, he's firing heavier leather. There's also the question of the rehydration clause, or rather, the absence of one. In many huge fights where a smaller man rises up, the contract will include a limit on how much weight the bigger fighter can put on between the weigh-in and fight night. Not here. That means Canelo can rehydrate freely, stepping into the ring perhaps 15 to 20 pounds heavier than the weigh-in. Crawford will bulk up too, but there's a difference between adding muscle and carrying natural, fight-ready mass. This could be one of the key deciding factors in how the fight plays out. Then there are the voices of experience, fighters who have shared the ring with these men. Kyron Davis, who's trained with both, doesn't hedge his remarks. He believes Canelo's stature and toughness will be too much. He's felt the strength, the weight behind every shot, and he's confident that over 12 rounds, that edge would crush a smaller opponent down. On the flip side, Omari Jones, a rising pro, has no qualms about Crawford's capacity to adapt and win. He talks about Crawford's training intensity, his ability to increase weight without losing quickness, and his determination to prove himself against the very best. Even Erislandy Lara, the Cuban technician who gave Canelo one of his roughest fights back in 2014, offers advice that's telling. He adds Crawford needs to stay on his toes, to keep moving, to enter and escape without getting trapped. But his warnings about not allowing Canelo strike the arms illustrate just how hefty those shots feel. It's not only headshots you worry about, it's every thudding punch to the ribs, the shoulders, even the gloves. Over time, they all pile up. And while this tactical back and forth makes for wonderful analysis, The truth is, conflicts are often determined by intangibles, things you can't evaluate on paper. One of those intangibles is ring experience at the weight. Canelo has been here in big fights against bigger men in stadiums with the whole world watching. Crawford has been dominant at 147, but the atmosphere, the feel, the rhythm of facing a bigger man at the highest level, it's different. The tempo can feel slower at first, but the shots land heavier. Recovery between rounds takes just a little longer. These tiny distinctions can influence the way a conflict proceeds. That's why some analysts are suggesting this won't be close. Not because Crawford isn't an all-time great, he is, but because the fight greatly benefits Canelo in ways that are hard to overcome. Size, power, expertise at the weight, and the ability to impose his battle on an opponent. They feel Crawford will have moments, sharp counters, rapid flurries, but over 12 rounds, those moments will be outweighed by Canelo's persistent, grinding onslaught. Of course, there's another party that views this differently. They refer to Canelo's troubles with pure boxers, fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Lara, and even Dimitri Bivol, who use movement and precision to confound him. Crawford has those tools, and he's more aggressive than any of those names, prepared to engage when the opportunity presents itself. They think that Canelo's stamina in the later rounds has shown flaws before, and if Crawford can weather the early storm, he might start piling up rounds on the scorecards. This is when the fight becomes fascinating. If Crawford can take Canelo's power, keep his legs fresh, and dictate range, then all of the size advantages in the world won't matter. But that's a lot of ifs. Experts who say it won't be close are essentially betting against all of those conditions being met for 12 straight rounds. And there's also the problem of psychology. Canelo has been chastised for playing it safe in previous fights, for fighting at a regulated tempo rather than taking risks. Crawford, on the other hand, is riding a wave of supremacy after destroying Errol Spence Jr. He's confident, eager, and has nothing to lose moving forward. Sometimes that approach may tip a fight on its head. If Crawford wounds Canelo early, if he forces him onto the back foot, it may unravel the fight strategy and shift the tide. Still, those betting heavily on Canelo no doubt that even in his hardest fights, he's rarely been in danger of being stopped. His chin is stone, his defense tight, and his ability to change mid-fight underestimated. Against someone increasing up in weight, they assume these attributes will be magnified. They see Crawford's route to victory as narrow, winning on points by landing more clean shots without getting caught by a fight-changing strike. And given Canelo's propensity to close space and work the body, they see that as a near impossible assignment over 12 rounds. As the fight approaches, both men will talk about respect, preparation, and strategy. But beyond the surface, there's a river of inevitability in the way certain insiders speak about it. They talk less about if Canelo's stature will matter and more about when it will start to show. For some, it's as early as round 4 or 5 when the first body shot hits clean. For others, it's in the championship rounds when Crawford's legs have taken too many short, quick steps backward and his performance diminishes. But boxing is unpredictable. That's why it's compelling. All it takes is one punch, one mistake, one perfectly timed counter to turn the narrative. Crawford has made a career of assessing opponents, creating traps, and squeezing the trigger when they least expect it. Canelo has built a career of stepping through fire and imposing his will. When those two beliefs confront, someone's going to have to bend. Whether you believe it will be a one-sided display for Canelo or a tactical masterclass from Crawford, the fact that experts are so split adds to the intrigue. But for those sure it won't be close, the arguments are steeped in cold, hard boxing reality. And unless Crawford can rewrite those rules on fight night, their prediction could very well come true.